For most of her life, she smiled through it all. That may be the most remarkable thing about Marie Osmond. No matter what was happening behind the scenes, the smile was always there, bright, polished, and ready for the camera. It was there when she was just a little girl performing alongside her famous brothers. It was there when she became a teenage country music sensation with Paper Roses. It stayed through failed marriages, personal tragedies, devastating loss, and decades spent living under the spotlight. America saw the smile. What America didn't see was what she was carrying underneath it. Now, at 65 years old and after more than 6 decades in entertainment, Marie Osmond has finally revealed a painful truth she kept hidden for most of her life. And the person she identified as her abuser was not who many people expected. To understand why this revelation matters, you have to go back to the beginning. Marie was born in 1959, the only daughter among 9 children in the famous Osmond family. Long before she understood what fame meant, it had already become part of her life. The Osmonds weren't simply a family. They were a brand. The wholesome image of a talented Mormon family from Utah captured America's attention and became one of the biggest entertainment success stories of the era. Cameras followed them everywhere, and expectations followed Marie from the moment she stepped into the spotlight. By the time she was a teenager, she was already a star. Her hit song Paper Roses topped the country charts when she was only 16 years old, making her one of the youngest female artists ever to achieve that milestone. But fame came with a price. For Marie, childhood and career became intertwined so completely that there was barely room to separate one from the other. The performance always came first. The image always came first. Smile. Perform. Keep going. For years, that's exactly what she did. Like many survivors, Marie didn't reveal everything at once. Her story emerged slowly over time. In her 2001 memoir, she hinted at painful experiences from her past. The references were there, but they were vague. Readers sensed there was more to the story, yet the details remained hidden. Many people moved on. Marie didn't. The effects of what happened followed her for decades. In more recent interviews, she began discussing the lasting emotional damage she carried. She spoke openly about body image struggles, disordered eating, and the deep shame that shaped her relationship with herself for years. Those struggles didn't appear out of nowhere. They were connected to experiences she endured as a child. Marie explained how abuse often exists inside relationships that are supposed to be safe. Children don't always understand what is happening. They don't always have the words to describe it. And when the child happens to be famous, surrounded by adults who depend on that fame, speaking up becomes even more complicated. Then came the revelation that shocked many people. Marie finally named the person she says abused her. It wasn't a stranger. It wasn't a random predator lurking outside her world. According to Marie, the abuse came from someone within her professional circle, a former manager connected to the business side of her family's entertainment career. That detail changes everything. When people imagine childhood abuse, they often picture danger coming from outside. But many survivors know the reality is different. The threat often comes from someone trusted. Someone with access. Someone who understands how to manipulate a child who has been taught to obey adults and keep everyone happy. Marie wasn't just a child. She was a child star. And child stars occupy a uniquely vulnerable position. Their success depends on adults. Managers, producers, agents, executives, and countless others become part of their daily lives. Many of those adults are wonderful. Some are not. When a child's value becomes tied to performance, popularity, and public image, it can become harder for them to recognize when boundaries are being crossed. The very system that creates success can also create vulnerability. That doesn't excuse what happened. But it helps explain how it happens. The man Marie identified is now deceased. That means there will be no courtroom battle. No criminal trial. No public defense from the accused. For some people, that fact immediately raises questions. Why speak now? Why wait so long? Those questions are common whenever survivors come forward years after the abuse occurred. But they often miss a crucial reality. People speak when they are ready. Not when outsiders think they should. Not when it's convenient. Not when it creates the cleanest headline. They speak when the burden of staying silent becomes heavier than the fear of telling the truth. For Marie Osmond, that process took decades. And considering her life, it's not difficult to understand why. She grew up in an environment where image mattered enormously. Family reputation mattered. Public perception mattered. Faith mattered. Marie has long been open about the importance of her beliefs and her connection to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Throughout her life, she has carefully balanced her personal experiences with her public identity. For many people raised in close-knit communities, discussing painful family or community issues publicly can feel almost impossible. Problems are often handled privately. Conversations stay within trusted circles. Speaking publicly requires breaking through years of conditioning. That's part of what makes Marie's disclosure so significant. She didn't keep it behind closed doors. She didn't leave it buried in the past. She chose to put it on the record. And that choice carries weight. Her story also highlights a larger problem that has existed in the entertainment industry for generations. The industry has known for decades that child performers face unique risks. Yet meaningful protections remain limited. There are laws designed to safeguard a child performer's earnings. But financial protections don't necessarily protect the child emotionally or physically. The systems surrounding young entertainers still rely heavily on adults operating behind the scenes. History has shown repeatedly that when oversight is weak, abuse can thrive. Marie Osmond's experience isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a pattern that stretches across generations of entertainment history. Different names. Different circumstances. The same vulnerabilities. Perhaps the most striking aspect of Marie's story isn't who she named. It's when she chose to speak. Not at 25. Not at 35. Not even at 50. She was in her 60s. Think about what that means. For decades, she carried this truth while continuing to perform, raise a family, build a career, and navigate unimaginable personal challenges. She endured public scrutiny and private pain simultaneously. And still, she kept smiling. That isn't evidence of weakness. It's evidence of survival. Many survivors spend years calculating the cost of disclosure. What will happen if people don't believe me? How will this affect my family? Will it change how people see me? Is the emotional toll worth it? Those calculations can continue for a lifetime. For Marie, the equation finally changed. The response has been mixed, though largely supportive. Many fans have praised her courage. Others have questioned the timing. Unfortunately, skepticism often follows abuse disclosures, especially when they involve events from decades earlier. But trauma doesn't operate according to public expectations. Healing doesn't follow a schedule. And truth doesn't come with an expiration date. Marie's story reminds us of that. Today, the public sees a fuller picture of the woman they thought they knew. Not just the singer. Not just the television star. Not just the smiling face that entertained millions. But a survivor. A woman whose life contained struggles far deeper than most people realized. Her disclosure doesn't erase the joy she brought audiences. It doesn't erase her accomplishments. It simply makes the picture more complete. The smile was real. But so was the pain behind it. And perhaps that's the lesson here. The people we admire, the celebrities we think we know, often carry stories hidden beneath carefully maintained public images. For years, Marie Osmond gave the world what it expected from her. Now she has given the world something else. The truth. And whether that truth arrives after 6 months or 6 decades, it still matters. Because somewhere out there, there are likely others from her generation, former child stars, entertainers, and public figures still carrying stories they haven't told. Still weighing the cost. still deciding whether the truth is affordable. Some of them may be smiling for cameras today, just as Marie did for most of her life. The difference is that Marie finally put down the burden of silence. And in doing so, she reminded countless others that their voices matter too. If you enjoyed this story, give this video a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe to Prestige Buzz, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss our latest stories about the lives, struggles, and untold journeys of the world's most fascinating celebrities.